Okay, I'm just bringing up the thread on Telegram, on Twitter as well, so that I can find the questions for a little bit later. But yeah, it's from George Coins. I look exhausted. I'm a little bit tired, but I haven't really slept much for the last 29 hours. Yeah, it's one of those days. I love you, CD, from Peter Gua. Thank you. Found the Seifu. What's up? I still like this guy from Satoshi 0x. Yeah, so I think we got 1,600 people now in the group. I think it's growing pretty quickly. So I'll give it another 1 or 2 more minutes for people to join, because I think the first topic I'm going to talk about is probably the most concerning to people. So I want to wait for a little bit. A rough day, huh? Thank God for Seifu. Yeah, it's a rough day. Yeah, so I took a nap for about 20 minutes just before this, and some of the team actually a large portion of the team did work overnight on this issue. Okay, I think we're up to close to 1.9K, so about close to 2,000 people. Let me see. Where's my AMS thread? Okay. Are you considering a reorg? Yeah, it's one of the things we're at 2,000 people, so I will start right now to jumping into the big main topic. As you guys know, we had a security incident yesterday. I think the blog post pretty much explained it all. It's basically a very advanced, persistent hacking effort. They use both external and internal methods to trap a lot of fish and get a lot of user accounts. And it's a very advanced. It's probably the most advanced. And the hackers are very patient, so they don't move as soon as they have one account. They wait for when they have a very large number of accounts, and they wait until they get very high net worth accounts. So it's a bit unfortunate, and our security measures was not able to stop that withdrawal, which costed us 7,770 BTC, so which come to roughly around $40 million US about now. We do have the funds. We do have the Seifu funds set up before, so we will use that to cover it. It is a very unfortunate incident, but it is what it is. Right now, our main effort is to focus on rebuilding and recovering the system. We need to make sure that we completely eradicate any trace of the hackers in all of our accounts, in all of our data. So that's a very tedious process. So unfortunately, before we finish that, we will not be able to release withdrawals or accept deposits. So we just want to make sure everything's safe. And because we have a very large set of data and we have a very large system architecture right now, we do estimate that it will take about a week. So this morning, a number of people have offered us support. There's a few topics I will discuss in this regard. And so very soon, I think the team's still debating whether, the team's pretty much decided on encouraging everyone to change the API keys if you trade using API. So I think that announcement is going to go out any minute now. We do highly recommend people to change their 2FA token, 2FA secret, or reset the 2FA. So disable and re-enable it. So we do advise people to take those security measures as a precaution. We don't know exactly to what extent the number of users affected, because that's kind of hard for us to guess at times. Very movingly, so a number of people have pledged very strong support, including Justin Sun, including Coinbase, including QKC, and a number of other exchanges and projects in our space. The current situation is we do have the funds to cover that 40 million. So we are completely okay on the funding side. It does hurt very much, but we are able to cover that. So we do not need the funding help. We have been working with other exchanges to block deposits from those hacked addresses. There's the other topic of do we want to issue a rollback on the Bitcoin network? Because right now the 7,000 BTC is far higher than, if we distribute that to miners, it will be far higher than the what they got paid for the last few blocks. To be honest, we can actually do this probably within the next few days. But there are concerns about if we do a rollback on Bitcoin network at that scale, it may have some negative consequences in terms of credibility, for destroying credibility for Bitcoin. So again, the team's still deciding that, and we're running through the numbers and checking everything. So I think throughout this instant, we will try to maintain very high transparency. And we will just we will solicit community help. So the reorg is an idea that came from the community. I actually did not know that we could do that, but there are serious consequences for doing that. So we will take that very cautiously. So I think the biggest thing is I do want to beg people to forgive us in terms of not being able to withdraw for the next week or so. So we do want to make sure that we are completely secure and we solve everything before we actually turn things back on. So especially the deposit and withdrawal part. So that security is our main concern, and we are working with a number of partners and getting their help. So I don't know if there's so I see a lot of people saying don't reorg. Give me my fund delist. Yeah, so please bear with us. Don't re-comment CZ. We love CZ. So no rollback. So I think so if there's any specific questions, I think the chat rolling in the live stream is a bit too fast for me to follow. So that's as much information as I have on the hacking incident. And as more information becomes available, I will share them very actively. I will remain active on Twitter, and all of our accounts will be active. So that's that. So people ask me how I feel. To be honest, I don't feel that well. Mainly, but not in the sense that I feel sick or anything. It's just that okay, it's not a great day. But at the same time, we have dealt with different type of pressure at different points. Some of the lighter comments I'll share with you guys. One of the comments I received privately says you're no longer a virgin. So that made me laugh a little bit under the circumstances. I think basically all of our effort is focused on rebuilding and making sure everything's secure, and then we can turn on the withdrawal and deposit as soon as possible. So that will take some time. So please bear with us. There will be a few system upgrades we will have to do during this week, and there may be small periods of time where we have to halt trading for a couple hours here and there for some of the core system upgrades, because we actually do need to make some changes in the system. But other than that, I think the team's very strong. The team's mentally in very good condition, even though we're under pressure. We're dealing with a setback. But I think myself and the team, we all have dealt with higher pressure situations before, and we are okay. So I think basically, Binance will stay. We will stay. We'll probably get even stronger after this, and we'll continue on. So our apologies for the interruption of service and this incident, yeah, please, if we do appreciate the support during this time, and if there's anything that you would wish to communicate to us, I think probably social media is probably the quickest way. I am active on Twitter, and you can reach me there. So So business will continue. We will continue. So for many people did try to help us, donate money to us. Our response is the same. We are not short on the funds right now. If people wants to donate, they should consider donating to Binance Charity Foundation. And there's a number of different charity programs on there. Anything that I've personally pledged to donate, including the CSW instant, I will continue to donate. So none of our efforts change. So we will move on. We'll still continue our core business. So let me go to the comments on Twitter so that I can address some of the questions that I was previously planning to address under better circumstances. So I'm actually looking at my the retweet that I have and just going down the list to see if I can find some of the questions. So let me see. So if there's any other questions in this chat, so I see people rooting for us, which is good. CZ is the boss. What do you want, reorg? Take it easy. So I think, yeah, so thank you for all your support. So let me go meditation. So let me go into the questions that's on Twitter. So the first question, I'm just going down the list right now. We specifically did not prepare a list, and we'll just go from here. So the first one I see is from Rally QT. She's been a long-term supporter of us and very strong supporter. So her first question is Binance chain to BFT consensus to POS in the near future. I think that's something that's probably slightly longer term in the future. We want to get the BFT Binance chain working to a larger extent first. So smart contract possible. We do also smart contracts probably mid to long term. The current focus on Binance chain is to help people to migrate to Binance chain and make it popular. So actually. Let me go back a little bit. Let me see. So I did look through some of the comments, and there are a number of common questions being asked. So there's a lot of questions asking about our future plans. One of the difficulties is we can't really predict the future too well, and we can't really forecast our detailed plans too much ahead of time, and things change. While we're working on a lot of things, we can't really disclose everything that we're working on. So anything that's to do with the future, what plans we have, is kind of hard to discuss or to confirm. And the other group is people shilling coins. Why don't we list some coin? Why don't we delist some coin? Again, that's something that we can't discuss publicly. We do not discuss coins, projects, other exchanges, etc. So for any listing and not listing request, it's better to talk to the project teams. Ask them to submit the Binance listing application form. And if you guys want to know, I have a detailed listing tips. So if you Google Binance listing tips, you will see that. There is a lot of questions regarding margin, stable coins, and the next Launchpad project. So we are working to arrange the next Launchpad project. So we have actually gone through a lot of great length to select the right projects for Launchpad. But we have a few candidates already, and we are finalizing the final candidate for the next Launchpad. Hopefully that will happen in May. And this time we will try to shorten the BNB holding period. So you will probably still be 50 BNB holding to have eligibility. I think the lottery system worked quite well last time. A large number of people got it, and so there was fewer complaints on social media. So that seems to work. So we will probably continue on that format. The exact project name will be announced a little bit later, but now everything's kind of shifted probably down further out a week. We want the next week to focus on what we can, how to resolve this issue and bring Binance.com back live as soon as possible, like fully live. There have been internal discussions about stablecoins, whether we want to offer our stablecoins, and there's a few different proposals and plans. So likely something may happen there. Again, plans change very quickly, so we can't really set in stone commit stuff like that. I think most people have already seen the margin flag added in our API. So yes, we are working on a margin system that's rolling out actually very, very soon. We are actually going to first roll out to a few of our key clients, the large traders, so that they can help us test. They also have agreements with us that if there's a bug, if there's something else, that they will work closely with us. So we will do a gradual rollout of the margin platform. It's actually the margin is actually being beta tested by our internal team. So the features, the code is basically done. We're just testing and ironing out any potential bugs. So those are the sort of new, fairly close new things that will happen very soon. And also on the country side, on the fiat side, we launched Binance Singapore last month, and the next one we are working on. And if you guys follow me on my Twitter, and you will see that we have had a lot of interactions with Singapore. With Argentina. So that's the most likely the next fiat channel we will turn on. So I see a couple comments. They talk about the hack. So you probably joined too late. I did talk about the hack in a lot of depth. So maybe if you listen to this one from the beginning, you will see that. Your hair is gray now. My hair has always been gray, but it's just this light. I'm actually very close to a very bright window, which actually shines the grayness much more apparent. And maybe because I didn't sleep at all last night. So I've been up for 29 hours. So that helps with the gray hair a little bit as well. So continue on with some of the questions. So I will jump into the thread. So I think that answers the third question from Raleigh QT, Argentina margin trading stablecoin. So I think that addresses all the questions there. Let me see which is the next one I start. Even if you do not have anything to say, I'll watch your superhero. That's from Crypto Sign. Thank you very much. Let's see. The next IEO, okay, I talked about that. When from zip hoodies for ladies, we do have a from zip hoodie version, but we have never given that out. So maybe we should start doing that. Let me see. So from Eomas Turkana, any of this on Binance Diary in the near future? Smart contracts, stable coins, reward and staking, crypto cards, crypto bank. So I think the first three I talked about already. We are working with a couple of different partners on being basically offering credit cards or being able to spend crypto directly from your card. So we are working with a couple of partners on that. I don't know all the exact progress yet. Things happening in a more or less decentralized manner in our organization. Crypto bank, we are not really looking into the banking business. So that's that. The next question is from Pivot and Boxmore. Will Binance ever use USD as a base currency? I know it's your business model not to, but it is inconvenient to exchange to Binance when transferring to another exchange and cash out. So Binance.com will unlikely to offer USD direct trading, but we do have a number of fiat gateways in the works. So potentially some of them will be able to support USD. And also some of the payment channels, including paying with a credit card, that's already available. So I think Tolorgel also wants to talk about the hack and reorg. So that's discussed already. I don't know what more I can say. So please roll back a bit, start watching from the beginning, and you will see it. Let me continue to go through this list. So I think actually I didn't flag that much. Will you open up opportunities to be Binance validators or possibly option stake coins for those who can't be validators? So again, so that's related to Binance DEX. So on the Binance chain, we are that's a little bit early. We're still trying to make sure we have a very we have a very close network of validators running out there. We do not disclose their identities for privacy reasons. And right now, we just want to make sure the network works. We, to be honest, have not thought too much about the governance model and the staking and how to become a validator in the past. Once the chain actually have adoption, that's probably the next step. So that will come soon. Turn off noisy fans off this, or okay, so that's just a comment on the Twitter. I'm on the CZ team. I'm on the team CZ Binance now. I lose whenever I'm not. Thank you. I have a question, sir, for CZ from Philippine projects. Has a chance to get listed on Binance Exchange. So Binance Exchange, we don't differentiate between locations or where the project is. We do the world as one. So every project have the same chance of getting listed on Binance.com. Speaking of that, for projects going forward, we will increasingly consider at a higher priority projects already issue tokens on Binance Chain. So there will be some preference there. So if projects want to get, that will be an easier way to get listed. Okay, I think the next few questions are, so some of the questions in a lighter mood. When will be interplanetary transfer? So I think that's when things were going better without this incident. So let me see, what else? When IEO margin trading. So this is from Cracks Me. When next IEO, when margin trading, when stablecoin. So I think I addressed all of that already. Let me jump back to the main thread and look at the questions under the main thread. So from Tron Mike 83, just a few bots, will there ever be a drawing tool on Binance app, horizontal lines, etc.? So I hope there will be, but I don't know exactly when that will be. So in terms of development priorities, OCO is coming. We've been working on that for quite a while. But again, that's probably delayed for about a week now. Will we be able to change the indicator settings at some point in the future? We hope to have that as well, but I think right now there's no immediate projects working on it right now. When we sell our crypto into USDT, which version are we getting? Omni, Ether, or Tron? So right now on USDT on Binance.com, we accept deposits for both Omni and Ethereum ERC20 versions. But the withdrawal is only available in Omni right now. As people deposit more ERC20 versions and people withdraw more Omni versions, there will be a point where the two balances flip. Once the ERC20 version is more than 50% than the Omni version, we will probably switch deposits, withdrawals into ERC20 version. And then exchange all the Omni versions into ERC20s. I know Tron has issued their version as well. We are looking to see the possibility of supporting that. Just so that it's not that we're against it. It's just that we haven't had time to do all the development. So that's that. Crypto Batsman always asks interesting questions. Will Binance DEX and Binance Chain be open source? So eventually we will be open sourcing Binance Chain and Binance DEX. But right now, I think it's more important to get some traction on the platform. So, and also, to be honest, if we open source it right now, all the other exchanges are just going to release a similar version of that chain. So, and so that is a consideration we need to consider right now. We want to get some adoption first before we fully open source it. But eventually, we will open source everything. When do you aim to have cross-chain coverage? So again, that's probably a day two feature. We want to get Binance Chain to have some have some momentum first. So we want to get a number of projects issuing a number of real projects with real market caps to issue on Binance Chain first, and then consider the cross-chain bridging. Initially, with the existing large cap tokens, we will probably do pegging through Binance.com. It's not ideal, but that's the fastest thing to do. Cosmos is trying to do the cross-chain bridging part, but right now they don't have a lot of projects live. They don't have a lot of blockchains live on Cosmos. So once they have more projects, it should be quite technically feasible for us to connect with Cosmos. So we'll see how that works out. How much does Binance change to host IEOs on average? So every project is different. So some, like if you do a popular sale on Binance Launchpad, depends on the project, how many users they have, how mature the product is, what kind of services they need from us, how much of the advisory and consulting they need from us. So that depends on every project. We don't have a set structure. SegWit. So SegWit is on the roadmap, but it's kind of always lower priority because Bitcoin transactions do work right now, and especially with Lightning networks, which have taken the load off Bitcoin main network, because we actually want to strive to have the safest deposit and withdrawals. So so it's never a super high priority for us. We've got so many stuff that's going on. Do you have any plans to offer any kind of Lightning Network services? So again, I think we talked about that just now. Rail goes by end of 2019 for Binance, Binance Chain, Binance DEX. So I think we just want to increase adoption, to be honest. So we don't really have a super grand goals where we have to hit a number, etc. So that's that. Would it be possible to select BNB? I talked about that. Which countries have you haven't visited are on the top of your visit list? So I don't really have a travel schedule or a travel wish list. I just travel whenever the opportunity presents itself. I don't try to go to a country just for touring purposes. I have a feeling that I will travel to many countries just because I have to. So I will continue to do that. What's your biggest secret? I don't really have a lot of. I think we are trying to be as transparent as possible to the extent possible. So there's not a whole lot of secret sauce going on here. We just focus on the issues, and whenever an issue presents itself, we try to resolve it. So now on our hands, we have a pretty big issue to deal with, and we just gotta deal with it the best way we can. Quantum Chugani has a few questions in the picture format. Let me look at that. Let me see if I can. So again, a number of people asking for hack details. So if you listen to this live stream from the beginning, we talked about the hack quite a bit. So you can. So it's best to listen to the video stream from the beginning. So I'll address a couple of these questions. So it's been about close to 30 minutes. So please appreciate I do have a lot of issues to address today. So I will cut this off at about 30 minutes. So I will address a couple more questions here from Gautam Chugani. Has the DEX launch met your expectations so far? What are the big learnings so far? Still early, I understand. So to be honest, the Binance DEX has exceeded my expectations. To be honest, when we first said we were going to develop a DEX maybe about a year ago, I thought it would be an incremental improvement on the current DEXs, but I didn't expect it to be so fast and the UI experience being so smooth. So I think from a product perspective, it has exceeded my expectations. So right now, I think the tech team collectively have done a fantastic job. So right now it's really up for us to sort of push it out to get the initial adoption, to get the critical mass, and then after that it should just basically spread on its own. So far I think it's exceeded my expectations. What are the biggest considerations for projects to choose BEP2 token over other choices? Any early learnings? Yeah, so that's a good question. So there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits on choosing BEP2. Number on the technical side, it is much faster to transfer to send and receive tokens. it is much cheaper as well, and one block confirmation is final. So there's instant finality. So that's all technical merits. On the other side, so for the earlier projects that migrate to Binance Chain, we will help Binance.com will help push them, and we will do joint marketing programs. They will get visibility. They will get a lot of exposure, and right now it's quite easy to get listed on Binance DEX. So as more projects come onto the chain, the review process is done by the community. So it's done by a thread. We didn't like the voting, like any voting feature will be manipulated. So we didn't like that. The goal is to have at least 10 times more coins on the Binance DEX than on Binance.com, so that we can select from Binance DEX the more popular coins on DEX, and we will list them on .com. So that's kind of the goal. So there's a lot of incentives on that front. How has the progress been on fiat exchanges launching Jersey, Uganda, Singapore? The fiat exchanges, we've been very careful. We follow the local regulatory requirements to the letter. So we've been very careful not to scale them too aggressively. We don't want to step on anybody's toes or step on any landmines, etc. So being very, very careful with expanding that. So we want each regulator to be comfortable with what we're doing. And for example, in Jersey, we have multiple meetings with the regulators, and they are very comfortable with the way we're doing things right now. So we want to be the most compliant fiat exchanges around the world. And we adopted a very similar approach in Singapore as well. So right now, there's only one pair on Singapore. And we're confirming and reconfirming with the regulatory authorities that we're doing everything properly. So eventually you will scale, but we're taking a very careful and compliant approach. So Binance has invested in so many early projects. Teams also help to raise funds on Launchpad. Which segments are you seeing early signs of success in real-world usable applications, blockchains? What part of the ecosystem are you most excited about? So again, I don't really have a crystal ball. I can't really predict the future that much. But we do try to invest in infrastructure projects, anything that can help build the ecosystem. In terms of applications, I think there's a few very obvious ones. There's transfer, there's payment, e-commerce, etc. There's fundraising, which is already probably the biggest killer app right now. I see a number of interesting games coming out of the dApps space, because games can be quite simple, and especially games today, most people play them on the mobile. It's a very short period of attention, so always very simple games. So those things, I think gaming probably have a lot of potential. So between institutional and retail adoption, which ones are you most excited about? How much is Binance focused on institutional clients? So we have rolled out a number of key features for institutional clients, but I think right now, if you look at our user base, the majority of them is retail. So again, we don't judge, we don't decide. We just make sure we offer choices to people. And for example, if large institutions wants to come in and they require certain features, we would develop it for that. So that's that. So I think the time is pretty tight. So I think a number of people who joined late are wondering about the hack or the security incident. So let me just recap a little bit very quickly on top of my head. Actually, I don't even have the announcement in front of me. But basically, the hacker was able to control a large number of user accounts. Some of them have high depth, have a lot of coins, have a lot of funds, and they were able to structure a withdrawal request in a sense where it did not violate any of our existing security checks. And so that transaction went out, and that's the transaction we posted in the announcement, and 7,000 BTC. So it is a large sum of money. It's equivalent to about $40 million right now. So, but luckily we do have the Saifu fund that will be able to cover it, and we will cover all the funds ourselves from the Saifu insurance fund, and all the user funds are okay. We do need about a week. We need to go through a very detailed security review and process to make sure that the system is completely clean. So that will take more or less about a week or so based on feedback from my team so far. We want to make sure everything's secure before we turn on deposit withdrawals again. But you can check on the blockchain. That's the only transaction that's suspicious. Our cold wallet is intact. The only wallet that's impacted is the Bitcoin hot wallet. All the other wallets are fine. So the funds are secure. We did lose a bit of funds, but we are able to handle that. Other than that, so we're just focused on building everything back up. So that's the highest priority for the next week or so. So I see a lot of people objecting to a rollback. I think there are some ethical and reputational considerations for Bitcoin blockchain for a rollback. So we will consider. So, but it's interesting. That's a tech solution that's presented to us by the community, including some of the core members of the Bitcoin development team. I actually didn't know that before. Actually, it just never occurred to me. But we will consider that very, very carefully, given the feedback we're receiving. So other than that, I think that's all the time I have today. So thank you for your support. And thank you for your understanding and the patience for waiting another week or at least a few days, a week or so, for deposit withdrawals. So thank you so much. We apologize about that, and we hope that after this incident we'll actually become more secure, even though we paid a hefty price. So thank you so much, and we do appreciate your support. And I will be active on Twitter. So if you need to reach me, I will be extra active on Twitter for the next little while. So thank you so much, and yeah, thank you.